Hey, what's going on everyone? I just want to introduce myself. My name is Luke Johannesson and this is my first YouTube video. So on this channel, I'm going to be talking about a lot of different things. The biggest thing that I really want to focus on is just the mindset of going into training and working out. So there's three big things that I want to do for everyone. There's going to be many more things that I'm going to be covering. But the first thing that I wanted to touch up on is to help people learn how to navigate the fitness industry with the overwhelming amount of information that's out there. And as well is to help people learn how to approach the information that they find on the internet with an open mindset and look at their perspective of how, maybe a bodybuilder is giving you information. So what does that change for you and how are you going to take that? This channel is really going to be focused on fitness, fashion, food, and just freedom from, the struggles that you may have had, or maybe the past attempts of that you wanted to go to the gym and you failed. So I'm here to help you get through that and push past those barriers and those mindsets, and also change your mindset to help you keep on training harder. So let's get into it. So as I said at the start of the video, my name is Luke Johannesson. I have probably over 10 years on and off of training experience. I used to play higher level soccer. I swam competitively for quite a few years, and then my last sport that I ended up playing was football. I went to go play university football, but things just really didn't work out, and I didn't really get to go there. So that was one of the things that I wish I did, but now I've kind of aged out. I'm 27 years old. I can't really join any of those type of sports. So what do? I turn to training, and I found that weightlifting is just a really good outlet for me, not only emotionally and mentally, but also just a physical challenge and overcoming goals and fitness goals, and then as well life goals, because fitness, the way that you train in the gym really translates to outside of the gym. And this channel is about helping you discover those and close those gaps. A little bit about me as well, as I work as a career firefighter full-time. So I did paid on call for about 2 years, and then now I've just entered into a full-time career job probably a year and a half ago now. But with that, as being said, is kind of like an occupational athlete. So I get to transfer a lot of the things from the gym into my work life, and then as well into my home life balance, because the things that you learn in the gym is not just how to lift things or how do you get stronger at something, but it's much more than that, and that's the things that I kind of want to talk about. Lastly, probably a big thing about me is that when I first actually got into firefighting, I ended up getting diagnosed with an autoimmune disease called eosinophilic esophagitis, so EOE for short. So if anyone's out there struggling with EOE, I'm definitely here to help and provide a little bit of insight on how to get through that, because I ended up losing 47 pounds at the start of my career, and I went through all of the training and went on emergency calls and everything like that, not being able to eat any solid foods at all. So that was a pretty big emotional and physical roller coaster for me, and I'll be definitely making videos about that later. So as part of my training experience, I just want to show a little bit of perspective. I've got a before picture that I'm going to show up here, and then as well I have an after picture. And I have to say that the before picture, when I lost all the weight with EOE, I was actually probably 15 pounds less than that. I ended up going from 215 all the way down to 167, I believe it was. So I lost, I think it was 47 pounds. That little outline, this little difference between the two is probably a year and a bit maybe difference of training. So I've definitely have been a lot skinnier, and I've also definitely been bigger. Not anything that's gonna send me to the IFBB Pro or anything like that, but hey, maybe that's a goal that I have later down the road. I'm not really sure. I kind of want to experiment with a lot of different training styles. So now I do powerlifting, I do a bit of bodybuilding, and I'm getting into a lot of weightlifting now, like Olympic weightlifting. So I find it fun just to keep challenging myself and you know, making more goals and achieving them, right? So that's that.
Oh, I stubbed my toe. Ow. Okay. Oh yeah.
And so one of my motivations of this channel is to really help people push past those barriers. I know how discouraging it can be to you know, either start fitness for the first time, or you've been on and off for, you know, quite some time. So I'm here to really help change people's mindset when it comes to working out, and I also want to teach people how to learn to train. So it's not just videos on proper technique or form, but it's helping people, like I was saying before, of how to navigate the fitness industry. So how do you know what information is correct, and how do you know which information that you shouldn't follow, right? There's some definitely big principles or basic principles to follow. You obviously don't want to be led down a path that's going to lead to injuries or just maybe not be as effective as you could. But honestly, a little bit of advice for anyone lifting and working out: I don't think it really matters what training program that you do go on, because if you think about it, when you're first starting out, you're going to have all these newbie gains anyway, and basically the biggest thing that you need to do is just be consistent in the gym. But I'm here to help you be consistent in the gym, because it's not just about going to the gym, trying to lift as much weight as possible, but there's so many more little facets that you can feel accomplished and achieve without lifting those big weights. For example, one of the things is, and this is covered in my next video, is just the wrong priorities in the gym. So one of the big priorities that I see that people aren't following is that they're not really developing the skill before they're, you know, increasing the weight. So basically they're trying to throw as much weight up as possible, but they haven't even learned how to do it correctly, right? So there's a lot of little goals that you can set, micro goals as well as macro goals that you'd be able to achieve later on. But the thing is to change your mentality and look at the positives, look at those little goals that you're creating. Say you do a bench press and you end up having the, you know, a really good elbow positioning when you're benching here. The thing is, those are things to celebrate, right? You don't need to celebrate always that, hey, or look down on yourself that you're seeing someone repping out 225 or 315 or something, right? You can also feel accomplished and achieve something by just changing your perspective. So like I was saying before, is that I wanted to talk a little bit about the problems that I see in the fitness industry, and this is going to cover a wide range of topics. And I said before of that people are trying to increase the weight before they increase the skill. But there's also other things, that I was mentioning, is that they're not celebrating the proper form. So you really need to celebrate when, hey, you deadlift, you set up for the deadlift correctly and you do that. And I'll be making a video later as well, and I'll be showing you my progression with Olympic lifting, right? This was a huge thing for me, being someone who's been experienced at lifting for, over 10 years. And here I am trying to learn Olympic lifting. I have the strength. I know how to deadlift. I know how to bench press. I know how to squat and all that stuff. But then now I'm doing something that's so new and different. It was super discouraging at the beginning because I know that my strength is there, but my technique is not there. So yes, I can muscle up some weight, but really in the long run, that doesn't matter because I'm gonna hit a plateau anyway, where my strength just isn't really going to cut it, and I need to learn the skill. So I definitely understand on a perspective of learning something. There's also one thing I do want to talk about is that, anyone who's been discouraged or failed, on past attempts, or maybe their current health that they're in and current fitness state that they're in, is just that, I'm going to help you, and I want to work with you to help achieve those goals that you really want, and the goals that together we can set micro goals to achieve those macro goals. But the thing is that you can push past those barriers, and it doesn't matter where your starting point is, because obviously anyone in the gym who maybe you see this person that's deadlifting 700 pounds. Well, they didn't start off deadlifting 700 pounds. And, and that's the thing, is everyone in the gym has started somewhere. It just really takes a mindset of consistency and how much you want to achieve. The thing is that if you want to be, say, not everyone I would say is capable of being me personally, I'm not capable of winning the world's strongest man. I'm not big enough. I'm only 6 feet tall. Maybe that's not an excuse, but I'm just not built like these other guys that are just massive giants like Brian Shaw, Eddie Hall. Even though Eddie Hall is I think only 6'3", but he's still a pretty crazy guy. If you look at pictures when he was 16, that was pretty nuts. But my point is to set realistic goals, right? And you can be the strongest version of yourself. That's what Elliot Hulse always preaches, right? And I think that's awesome, is that you don't need to be someone else. You just need to be the best that you want to be, right? So I'm here to help you just to get over those barriers and keep going and change your mindset in the gym. And also really be realistic about your training goals, right? If you're comparing yourself to some of these Instagram fitness models like Calvin Von Mog or Simeon Panda or Bradley Martin or something like that, you have to remember that they do that all the time. Even like myself, training is a big priority for me, and I spend a lot of time doing it. But again, I only have a limited amount of time because I'm still working as a firefighter on a 4-on 4-off schedule. So I have to be realistic for myself of what I can attain. But I'm here to show you what I've attained and maybe help you attain your goals, whether that's losing more weight, hitting that lift that you really wanted to, or just creating a healthy mindset and accomplishing whatever goals. And the rest of the channel, I'm going to be also covering things that I really like talking about and want to talk about, which is just some of the cool fashion. I love clothing. I love different types of shoes and hats or whatever, so I want to be reviewing some of those, the things that I find that are really cool in my life. And the last thing that, not the last thing that this channel is going to cover, but this video in particular, I've got a lot of ideas and a lot of videos that are coming, but it's just the overwhelming amount of information that's on the internet. I would say everyone's trying to sell you their workout programs or tell you that, hey, if you want to be kind of the aesthetic bodybuilder, because I know there's a lot of guys and girls that want to be, as shredded as possible. The thing is that it's super hard to do, and that it's, for me personally, I don't count my calories. I know roughly kind of, hey, okay, this is a high calorie dense food and this is crap, I'm eating, I've got kettle chips or I'm eating Fudgios or something like that. I know that's not good for me, but I kind of follow basic principles. And the one thing that gets me through a lot of it is actually making smoothies. And like I was saying, when I was diagnosed with EOE, autoimmune disease, I pretty much lived off smoothies, and not just smoothies, but I actually had to puree all my food as well. So I can make a video about that. My wife really helped me out with that. We ended up like pureeing and blending up chicken and bone broth and everything else, just because I needed to get calories in and I wasn't able to swallow any solid food. So the thing is that I'm here to help you learn how to navigate through a lot of the fitness industry, and as well like what information is actually valid, right? So stay tuned for the next video. The next video coming out should be about wrong priorities. I'm also going to be starting a podcast and just talking with my brother-in-law Tim and my training partner, and hopefully other people later down the road as well, just about their training experience. And it's really interesting right now. I'm training my brother-in-law Tim, and he's never lifted before, so it'd be really interesting to share with you his perspective and any questions that I have for him, and then questions that maybe he has for me. So yeah, I'm excited for this journey, and I hope that you guys will stay along with it. We'll see you next time.